You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Days of Our Lives fans, I've got your weekly prediction edition. We're going to talk about Cat and Sammy's bizarre link and Marlena spiraling out. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt. I have got predictions for Marlena and John, for Cat and Sammy, for Abby Demera, for Holly, Ari, and Doug, and also for Johnny and Chanel. And hey, if you're not following, hit that subscribe button. So our very first prediction, Marlena spirals into depression. So last week, of course, Marlena and her family were rallying around John. His test results looked promising. You know, Kayla gave them an update. Everybody thought he was going to get better. Then he took a sudden turn for the worse and he died last Monday. So this week ahead, spoilers for Tuesday through Thursday, promise that it's John's funeral and his wake. There's going to be lots of family there for Marlena and paying tribute to John and giving her a lot of support. And the thing is, you know, Marlena and John had a long and wonderful relationship, the kind that not a lot of people get to experience. They even had that psychic connection that was between, you know, John and Marlena. And once John's loved ones drift back out of Salem, she might slip into a depression. Marlena said last week after John passed that she needs to learn to do things on her own, but that's not going to be easy. And Marlena is trying to be poised and professional and be calm for her family. She talked about how keeping busy will help, but at the same time, she's not truly sitting with her grief over losing her soulmate by keeping busy like this. So maybe she gets so depressed about John's death that she spirals. We all saw Julie Williams do this. After Doug Williams passed away, she couldn't sleep in their bed. Julie could barely sleep at all. And she finally went to therapy and is coming back out of it. And of course, Brady and Tate will still be at the house with Marlena, but Tate's busy with the baby coming and Brady has issues with Rachel. I mean, hopefully if Marlena is struggling, they'll notice, or maybe Steve and Kayla will notice since they'll be sticking close. Our second prediction, Cat has a bizarre link to Sammy, but what is it? So recent episodes had Cat Greene over at Marlena's place dropping off some baked goods when she heard about John's loss. And of course, Kat knows about him from her own mom. And then she saw that picture of Sammy and she was asking Tate about it. And he, you know, told her who it was. But what's the link? Why would Kat possibly know Sammy? So I was doing some thinking about it. Kat's family is connected to John Black through their mother, who is Konstantin's daughter. Remember, he got Katerina away. Maybe John had some kind of secret fling with her while he was the pawn. It'd be really wild if they swapped things around to make John into Kat's dad retroactively. It would kind of be a redux of when they introduced Doug 3 at the funeral after Julie lost her beloved Doug. It would also carve out Kat a place in Salem by linking her to a legacy family because Chad's leaving in the new year. So if she's staying, they've got to either recast Chad to be with her or carve a path for her. And if you don't remember, Kat had reconstructive surgery after a serious vehicle accident. So she might have originally looked more like some of John's kids, you know, if they're related. Maybe she looked more like Belle. Another notion is that Kat was overseas after the reconstructive surgery. We know that, but maybe she was in the same hospital where EJ was and Sammy was staying at his bedside. Or maybe Kat's old boss and tormentor Clyde Weston showed her a photo of Sammy because he planned to have Kat target her because of EJ. Our third prediction, Abby's death anniversary sparks a search for her and her remains again. So last week, Jack and Jennifer showed up to support family after John's death, and they're there for Julie. And when Jennifer heard that Chad was doing a date with Kat, she freaked out about it. And then Kat actually brought Chad back to the house because he had twisted his ankle from skydiving. And Jennifer blew up at her, told Kat, leave her family's home, never come back. She wonders why Chad would ever go on a date with the woman who impersonated Abby Abby, even if it was for charity. So spoilers for next week have Jack paying respects to his dead daughter, Abigail. That happens after John's funeral. So it looks like Jack may stop by Abby's grave after they lay John to rest. But remember, they exhumed her grave. Chad and Jack were there for it, and they know it is empty. Abby's death anniversary, by the way, is late July. She died 3 years ago. So with Clyde still in a coma and Abby's remains nowhere to be found, will the death anniversary spark some action? Billy Flynn has already left Days for Y&R. He's supposed to have episodes of Days airing through early 2026. And by the way, he starts in a week on Y&R if you want to see him over there. But, you know, we could see Chad leave town searching for Abby at the beginning of the year. That empty grave, no doubt, still bothers Jack and Jen and Chad. And Jennifer and Jack may think Chad's been too caught up with Cat to dig for answers. So Jack might hire his brother Steve Johnson to investigate Clyde's claim that Abigail is still alive. Our fourth prediction, Holly and Ari are in danger from Doug's loan shark. So over the last 2 weeks, there's this creep taking photos of Holly and now also of Ariana while he's lurking around outside the pub with a giant camera, mind you. Nobody uses a camera that big anymore. Did they pull it out of the old props? That's not subtle at all. So spoilers for the week ahead have Ari telling Tate something. Maybe she admits to the fling with Doug. And it looks like because he's taking photos of Holly and now Ari when they're near Doug, it seems it has something to do with him. We also know Doug 3 is late on his interest payments to that loan shark. So Holly and Ari may both be in danger. Either one or both could be hurt or kidnapped or just threatened. The loan shark may snatch the girls and tell Doug 3, you get them back when I get my money. That would give Doug 3 a chance to play hero to rescue Holly and Ari, but he doesn't have the money. So maybe he would enlist Tate or turn to Steve for help, or Roman, or even Rafe, but this does not look good at all. Our fifth and final prediction, Chanel and Johnny reconsider adopting Tate and Sophia's baby. So a few weeks back, of course, you remember Johnny broke Chanel's heart when he backed out of the adoption, and they've talked about starting a family someday. But spoilers for this week have Chanel talking to Tate about the adoption. Also this week, Johnny tells Chanel some of his fears. So she really wanted Tate and Sophia's baby, and so did Johnny, until he found out EJ raped his mom, Sammy. And it looks like Chanel is still interested, or might be, when she hears from Tate that Sophia is giving birth soon and there's still no adoptive parents. So maybe Chanel convinces Johnny to reconsider. She says they can honor John, his granddad that he just lost, by starting their family. You know, Johnny may still be apprehensive, but life is short, and losing John reiterates that for him. So maybe Johnny will be more open to becoming a parent. Maybe Chanel even tells him if it's a boy, they can name the baby after his grandpa John. And if it's a girl, they can do a female version like Joan or Jonna. I think that'd be awfully sweet.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.